Today, we are going to be talking about what goes into a conclusion statement. So, judging by the name, you can infer that a conclusion statement is the very last paragraph of your paper. It's short, it's very similar to your intro because it's a reminder of what you've learned. It includes a rewording of your thesis. It can be 1 or 2 sentences, and your DARE pledge. Your conclusion is the last thing your audience reads, so it's your last chance to convince them, argue them, or inform them of what you just spent your entire paper talking about. So if I come down to mine, here's my conclusion. I have learned so much over this unit. I knew drugs and tobacco were bad, but never understood how bad they were. Do not do drugs and use tobacco, and ask for help if you need it. Last but not least, I picked up that responding to peer pressure can be tough, but it's best to just be yourself. I, Hammy, pledge that I will never do drugs, take tobacco, or let people pressure me into doing something that makes me uncomfortable. I will always ask for help if I need it, and I will always stand up for myself when responding to pressure. The DARE class has been a great learning experience. So right away, if I go back to my Post-it notes, I see that it's supposed to be a reminder of what I learned. I've learned so much over this unit. I knew drugs and tobacco were bad, but never understood how bad they were. So since that is my general restatement of what I learned throughout the DARE knowledge, I'm going to make that orange because that's where I got my inspiration for writing my topic. So if I scroll up to the top and look at what's blue, this is my thesis statement. I learned not to use drugs and tobacco, who to ask for help, and how to say no. Do not use drugs and tobacco, and ask for help if you need it. Last but not least, picked up that responding to pressure can be tough, but it's best just to be yourself. So these sentences are the same thing as my thesis statement. I just worded it a little bit differently. Instead of talking about no, this time I talked about peer pressure or just pressure, asking for help, and I just phrasing it slightly differently. And so that's what you're going to do too. That'll be purple, since my rewording of thesis is purple. Last but not least should be my DARE statement. I, Hammy, pledge I will never do drugs, take tobacco, let people pressure me into doing something that makes me uncomfortable. I will always ask for help if I need it, and I will always stand up for myself. Perfect. That is my pledge. So I'm going to italicize that. And then our last thing, the DARE class has been a great learning experience. I don't go into a ton of depth, but you know what? I'm still going to make that orange. So your conclusion is basically rewording everything you have already done. You're reminding the audience of what you've learned. So for this unit, you learned that drugs and tobacco were bad, kind of the main focus. Then I restated my thesis. So I took it from one sentence up here and then turned it into 2 right down here. Lastly, I made my pledge for myself and again brought back to learning.